Well, stop right there, because you've just stumbled onto something special. Picture this, a bustling office, phones ringing off the hook, papers flying, and in the middle of it all, a man who thinks he's got everything under control, until she walks in. She's just a temporary assistant, hired for a few weeks, nothing more. But what if I told you that this woman, with her quiet smile and unassuming charm, is about to turn his entire world upside down? What if I told you that by the end of this story, she doesn't just steal his heart, she changes his life forever? You're probably wondering, how does a temp worker, someone who's supposed to fade into the background, become the center of a love story so captivating it'll leave you breathless? Stick with me, because in this video, I'm going to unravel every twist, every secret, and every moment that makes she was a temporary assistant, but permanently stole his heart, the romantic drama you didn't know you needed. This isn't just a story, it's a journey, and I'm inviting you to come along for the ride. Now, let's get real for a second. You've watched a million YouTube videos, right? Some grab you, some don't. But this one? This one's different. I'm not just here to tell you a story. I'm here to make you feel it. You know that feeling when you meet someone, and something inside you just clicks? Like, maybe it's fate, maybe it's chance, but suddenly, your whole day feels brighter? That's what this story is about. It's about those unexpected moments that sneak up on you and change everything. And I know you're curious. I can feel it. You're sitting there, maybe with a snack in hand, maybe curled up on your couch, wondering, who is this woman? What's so special about her? And what's the deal with this guy who's about to fall head over heels? I'm going to give you all the answers, but you've got to promise me one thing. You're going to watch this video until the very end. Because if you don't, you'll miss the moment that ties it all together. The moment that'll have you hitting that like button, sharing this with your friends, and maybe even tearing up a little. Deal? Alright, let's dive in. Imagine a guy named Ethan. He's the kind of man who's got it all together. At least, that's what everyone thinks. He's in his early 30s, sharp suit, corner office, the kind of guy who walks into a room and owns it. He's built his career from the ground up, working late nights, skipping vacations, all to make sure his marketing firm is the best in Chicago. Ethan's life is a well-oiled machine. Meetings, deadlines, repeat. He doesn't have time for distractions, and he definitely doesn't have time for romance. Love. That's for other people, the ones who aren't chasing dreams as big as his. But here's the thing about life. It loves to throw curveballs when you least expect it. And Ethan's curveball comes in the form of Lily, a temporary assistant hired to fill in for his regular secretary who's out on maternity leave. Lily's not like anyone Ethan's ever met. She's not loud or flashy. She's just there with her messy bun, her coffee-stained notebook, and a way of looking at the world that makes even the grayest Chicago morning feel a little warmer. At first, Ethan barely notices her. She's just the temp, someone to answer phones and file papers. But then, something shifts. A late-night work session, a shared laugh over a bad client email, a moment that feels so small but carries so much weight. And suddenly, Ethan's perfectly controlled life doesn't feel so controlled anymore. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, okay, this sounds like every rom-com I've ever seen. Guy meets girl, they fall in love, blah blah blah. But hold on, because this story isn't that simple. There's a mystery here, something about Lily that nobody in the office knows. Not even Ethan. She's got a past, a secret she's carrying, and it's the kind of secret that could either bring them closer or tear them apart forever. You're going to want to know what it is, trust me. And I'm not going to spoil it here, but I will tell you this. Every time you think you've got this story figured out, it's going to surprise you. That's why you've got to keep watching, because I'm going to peel back the layers of Ethan and Lily's story, showing you how two people who seem so different can find something so real. You're not just watching a video, you're stepping into their world, feeling their highs and lows, rooting for them even when the odds are stacked against them. And let me tell you the odds? They're definitely stacked. Let's talk about you for a minute. Yeah, you, the person watching this right now. Maybe you're a hopeless romantic, always chasing that warm, fuzzy feeling of a good love story. Or maybe you're a skeptic, rolling your eyes at the idea of love at first sight. Maybe you've been through your own heartbreak, or maybe you're still waiting for that one person who makes your heart skip a beat. Wherever you're at, this story is for you. Because it's not just about Ethan and Lily, it's about all of us. It's about the moments that make us human, the risks we take, the walls we build, and the people who come along and show us it's okay to let those walls down. I'm telling you this story because I know you're going to see a little bit of yourself in it. And I'm asking you to stick with me, to keep watching, because by the end of this video, you're going to feel something. Maybe it's hope, maybe it's joy, maybe it's that little spark that reminds you why love stories matter. But you won't know unless you stay until the end. So, are you in? Good. Because we're just getting started. The atmosphere in Ethan's office is electric, but not in the way you might think. It's not all glitz and glamour. It's the kind of place where stress hangs in the air like humidity, where every deadline feels like a ticking time bomb. Ethan thrives in that chaos. It's what fuels him. But Lily? She's different. She moves through the office like a breeze, calm and steady, noticing things nobody else does. Like the way Ethan's jaw tightens when a client calls with bad news, or the way he always forgets to eat lunch when he's buried in work. She starts leaving little notes on his desk. Nothing big, just reminders to grab a sandwich or take a breath. At first, Ethan thinks it's annoying. Who is this woman, acting like she knows him? But then he starts looking forward to those notes, to the way her handwriting loops on the letter E, to the way she seems to see right through his polished exterior. And that's when things get complicated. Because Ethan's not supposed to fall for the temp. He's got a company to run, a reputation to uphold, and a heart he's kept locked away for years. But Lily's not making it easy, and neither is the secret she's hiding. A secret that's about to come crashing into their lives like a storm. Here's where I'm going to let you in on a little YouTube magic. You're invested now, right? You're picturing Ethan in his sleek office, Lily with her quiet strength, and you're dying to know what happens next. That's exactly where I want you. This video isn't just a one-and-done watch, it's a story you're going to want to talk about, share with your best friend, maybe even comment about below. And I'm going to make you a promise. If you watch until the end, you're going to get the answer to the question that's burning in your mind right now. What's Lily's secret? How does a temporary assistant become the one thing Ethan can't live without? I'm going to give you every detail, every heartbeat, every moment that makes this story unforgettable. But you've got to stay with me. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, because you don't want to miss what's coming. This is the kind of story that trends on YouTube for a reason. It's got romance, drama, mystery, and a cliffhanger that'll leave you begging for more. So where are we at? Ethan's starting to notice Lily, and not just as the woman who keeps his schedule in check. There's something about her, something that makes him question everything he thought he knew about himself. And Lily? She's falling too, but she's fighting it. Because that secret she's carrying, it's not just about her. It's about someone else, someone who could change everything. As the weeks go by, the lines between boss and assistant start to blur. Late nights at the office turn into conversations that have nothing to do with work. A brush of hands, a look that lingers too long. Every moment pulls them closer, even as the weight of Lily's secret grows heavier. And just when it seems like they might finally give in to what's building between them, something happens. Something that stops Ethan in his tracks. Something that makes him wonder if he ever really knew Lily at all. What is it? Who is it? And will it be enough to break them apart before they even have a chance to begin? You're going to have to keep watching to find out, because this is one twist you won't see coming. Right where we left off, Ethan's world is starting to tilt, and he doesn't even realize how far it's about to spin out of control. That moment, whatever it was that made him question everything he thought he knew about Lily, hangs in the air like a storm cloud ready to burst. Let's step back into Chicago, into the sleek glass tower where Ethan's marketing firm hums with ambition and pressure, and where Lily, the temporary assistant who was supposed to be a blip on his radar, is quietly rewriting the rules of his carefully curated life. Ethan's not the kind of guy who gets rattled easily. He's faced down ruthless clients, survived cutthroat boardroom battles, and built a reputation as the man who always has a plan. But now, as he sits at his desk, staring at a cryptic note Lily left behind, not one of her usual eat lunch reminders, but something vague, almost urgent, scrawled in her familiar loopy handwriting. He feels a knot in his stomach he can't explain. It's not just the note. It's the way Lily's been acting lately. Distracted, jumping at the sound of her phone, glancing over her shoulder like she's expecting someone to walk through the door. Ethan wants to ask her about it, to demand answers, but every time he gets close, she flashes that soft, disarming smile, and he's back to square one, wondering how a woman he barely knows has gotten so far under his skin. You're probably sitting there, just like I am, itching to know what's going on with Lily. What's she hiding? And why does it feel like the closer Ethan gets to her, the more dangerous this whole thing becomes? Keep watching, because the layers of this romantic drama are about to get deeper, and the stakes? They're higher than you think. Let's rewind a bit to understand Ethan a little better, because this guy's not just some suit in a corner office. Growing up in a working-class neighborhood on Chicago's South Side, Ethan learned early on that if you want something, you fight for it. His parents worked double shifts to keep the lights on, and Ethan swore he'd make it big, not just for himself but for them. That drive turned him into a workaholic, the kind of guy who'd rather spend Saturday night crunching numbers than chasing dates. Romance was a distraction, and distractions were for people who didn't have dreams as big as his. But there's a flip side to that ambition. A loneliness Ethan doesn't talk about, not even to his best friend Marcus, who's been with the firm since day one. Marcus is the opposite of Ethan. Loud, charismatic, always ready with a joke or a beer. He's the one who notices Lily first, not as a romantic interest but as someone who doesn't quite fit the office mold. She's got a story, Marcus tells Ethan one day over coffee, his eyes narrowing as he watches Lily sort files across the room. Bet you $100 she's not just here to answer phones. Ethan laughs it off, but Marcus's words stick with him, especially now, as Lily's behavior grows stranger. Marcus's comment plants a seed of doubt, and suddenly Ethan's not just curious about Lily, he's suspicious. Is she really just a temp? Or is there something else going on, something that could threaten everything he's built? You're feeling that suspense building, aren't you? That's why you've got to stick with this video, because every clue I drop is leading to a truth that'll blow your mind. Now let's talk about Lily, because she's the heart of this mystery, and she's not what she seems. On the surface, she's the perfect assistant. Organized, polite, always one step ahead of Ethan's needs. But there's a quiet intensity to her, a depth that comes out in fleeting moments, like when she's staring out the office window, lost in thought, or when she fumbles her words after a phone call she doesn't want anyone to overhear. Lily's not from Chicago, that much Ethan knows. She mentioned once in passing that she grew up in a small town in Wisconsin, but she dodged the details like someone who's used to keeping secrets. What Ethan doesn't know, and what you and I are starting to piece together, is that Lily's not just running from a boring hometown. There's someone in her past, someone tied to that secret she's guarding so fiercely. Is it an ex? A family member? Someone more dangerous? The clues are there, hidden in the way she tenses when a certain area code lights up her phone, or the way she avoids talking about why she took a temp job in a city where she knows no one. And then there's the locket she wears, a small silver thing she touches absent-mindedly when she thinks no one's watching. Ethan's noticed it too, and he's starting to wonder what it means. You're probably screaming at the screen right now, wanting to know what's in that locket, what's got Lily so on edge. I'm not going to tell you yet, but I promise if you keep watching, you'll get closer to the truth, and it's going to be worth it. Here's where things get even juicier, because this story isn't just about Ethan and Lily. There's a subplot brewing in the office, and it's adding fuel to the fire. Enter Sarah, Ethan's ex-girlfriend and the firm's top account manager. Sarah's a force of nature. Sharp, ambitious, and still a little bitter about the way things ended with Ethan 2 years ago. They broke up because Ethan was too focused on work, and Sarah wasn't about to play second fiddle to his dreams. Now she's back in his orbit, and she's not thrilled about the way Ethan's eyes light up when Lily's around. Sarah's not the villain here, but she's not exactly cheering for Ethan's new crush either. She's got her own agenda, and it involves landing a massive client that could take the firm to the next level, or sink it if things go wrong. Sarah's perspective adds a new layer to the story, because she sees things Ethan doesn't. Like the way Lily's too good at her job for someone who's just a temp, or the way she seems to know things about the firm's clients that she shouldn't. Sarah's suspicious, and she's not the type to let things slide. She starts digging, asking questions, and what she finds only deepens the mystery. Is Lily connected to one of their competitors? Is she hiding something that could hurt the firm, or Ethan? Sarah's not sure, but she's determined to find out, and her investigation is about to stir up trouble nobody saw coming. You're hooked now, right? This is the kind of drama that trends on YouTube: romance, secrets, and a workplace rivalry that's about to explode. As the days turn into weeks, the tension in the office is palpable. Ethan's caught between his growing feelings for Lily and the nagging doubt that she's not telling him everything. He's not blind. He sees the way she hesitates when he asks about her life outside work, the way her smile falters when he gets too close to the truth. But every time he thinks about confronting her, he remembers the way she stayed late to help him prep for a big presentation, or the way she laughed at his terrible attempt at a joke during a coffee run. Those moments feel so real, so unguarded, that he can't believe she's anything but genuine. Meanwhile, Lily's struggling too. She didn't come to Chicago looking for love, she came to escape. But Ethan's kindness, his quiet strength, is making it harder to keep her walls up. She wants to tell him the truth, to let him in, but the risk is too great. If she opens up, she could lose everything. Not just Ethan, but the fragile safety she's built for herself. And then there's Marcus, who's starting to notice the cracks in Lily's story, and Sarah, who's getting closer to uncovering something that could change the game entirely. The office feels like a pressure cooker, and every glance, every conversation, is laced with unspoken questions. You're probably on the edge of your seat, wondering how much longer they can keep this up before it all falls apart. That's why you've got to stay with this video, because the next twist is going to leave you speechless. Just when it seems like Ethan and Lily might find a moment of peace, something else happens. A phone call in the middle of the night, one that Lily takes in a whisper, her face pale as she slips out of the office. Ethan overhears just enough to know it's serious, but not enough to understand what's at stake. The next day, Lily's quieter than usual, her eyes red-rimmed, and Ethan's torn between giving her space and demanding answers. He's not the only one watching her now. Sarah's found a piece of the puzzle, a name, a connection to Lily's past that doesn't add up, and she's debating whether to confront Lily or take it straight to Ethan. Marcus, ever the loyal friend, warns Ethan to be careful, but he's got his own problems, juggling a side project that's starting to pull him away from the firm. The threads of this story are tangling tighter, and every choice feels like it could unravel everything. Who's calling Lily? What's Sarah about to uncover? And how much longer can Ethan ignore the warning signs before he's in too deep? You're not going to believe what happens next, but you'll only find out if you keep watching. This is the kind of cliffhanger that makes YouTube go wild, so hit that like button, share this with your friends, and let's keep this love story, and this mystery, rolling. The air in Ethan's Chicago office feels heavier now, like the whole place is holding its breath, waiting for the storm to break. That late-night phone call Lily took, the one that left her pale and shaken, has shifted something in Ethan's gut. He's not just curious anymore. He's worried, and that worry is starting to outweigh the butterflies he gets when Lily's around. You're probably right there with him, wondering who was on the other end of that call and why it's got Lily acting like a ghost of herself. Ethan's trying to focus on work, burying himself in spreadsheets and client pitches, but his eyes keep drifting to Lily's desk, where she's typing with a kind of mechanical focus that doesn't match the woman who used to leave him notes about eating lunch. He wants to ask her what's wrong, to be the guy who fixes it, but every time he opens his mouth, the words stick. Because deep down, he's starting to realize that whatever Lily's hiding, it's not just about her, it's about him too. And then, just when he thinks things can't get any more complicated, the door to his office swings open, and in walks a stranger who's about to blow this whole story wide open. You're not going to believe who this person is or what they're carrying, but trust me, you're going to want to keep watching, because this twist is the kind of drama that lights up YouTube trends and keeps you glued to the screen. Let's set the scene, because this moment is where everything starts to spiral. It's a rainy Tuesday afternoon, the kind of gray day that makes the office feel like a cage. Ethan's on a call with a client when he hears a commotion in the reception area. Raised voices, the kind that cut through the usual hum of phones and keyboards. He steps out to see what's going on, and there's Lily, frozen at her desk, staring at a man in a worn leather jacket who's demanding to see the boss. This guy's not polished like Ethan's usual clients. He's rough around the edges, with a scar above his eyebrow and a voice that carries a mix of anger and desperation. Sarah's there too, her arms crossed, looking like she's ready to call security, while Marcus hovers nearby, trying to play peacemaker. The man locks eyes with Lily, and for a split second, Ethan sees something pass between them. Recognition, fear, maybe even regret. Before Ethan can process it, the man drops a bombshell. He's Lily's brother, Jake, and he's here because Lily's in trouble. Big trouble. The kind that involves people who don't mess around. Ethan's head is spinning, and you're probably screaming at the screen right now, wondering what kind of mess Lily's caught up in. Is it money? A bad breakup? Something worse? I'm not going to spoil it yet, but this is where the stakes go through the roof, and you've got to stick with me to see how it all plays out. Now let's dive into Jake, because his arrival is like throwing a match into a room full of gasoline. Jake's not just Lily's brother. He's a walking complication. He's older than her, maybe mid-30s, with the kind of charm that's been worn down by hard living. He's cagey about why he's here, tossing out vague warnings about people looking for Lily, while dodging Ethan's questions. But it's clear he's not just some concerned sibling. He's got his own baggage, and it's tied to whatever Lily's running from. Ethan's trying to piece it together, but Jake's not exactly forthcoming, and Lily's clamming up tighter than ever. She begs Ethan to stay out of it, her voice trembling in a way that makes his chest ache, but staying out of it isn't an option anymore. Not when Jake's pacing the office like a caged animal, not when Sarah's whispering to Marcus about due diligence and background checks, and definitely not when Ethan catches Lily slipping a folded piece of paper into her locket when she thinks no one's watching. That locket again. It's like a puzzle piece that doesn't fit, and it's driving Ethan crazy. You're feeling that same itch, aren't you? That need to know what's in that locket, what Jake's running from, and why Lily's so scared. This is the kind of mystery that makes YouTube comments explode. So hit that like button and let's keep unraveling this love story turned thriller. Meanwhile, Sarah's subplot is heating up, and it's adding a whole new layer of tension. She's not just suspicious of Lily anymore. She's on a mission. That name she found, the one tied to Lily's past, led her to a news article from a small Wisconsin town, something about a scandal that rocked the community a few years back. Sarah's not sure
how it connects to Lily, but she's got a gut feeling it's bad news, and she's not about to let Ethan get blindsided. The problem is, Sarah's not exactly impartial. Her history with Ethan makes her see Lily as a threat, not just to the firm but to the life she and Ethan used to dream about. She's digging deeper, contacting old colleagues, even reaching out to a private investigator friend, all while juggling the high-stakes client deal that could make or break the firm. Sarah's torn between protecting Ethan and protecting her own ambitions, and every step she takes brings her closer to a truth that could change everything. Marcus, on the other hand, is starting to pull away, distracted by his side project, a tech startup he's been secretly pouring his savings into. He's still Ethan's ride or die, but he's got his own secrets now, and they're making him less reliable just when Ethan needs him most. You're probably sensing the chaos building, right? This office is a powder keg, and Jake's arrival just lit the fuse. As the days pass, Ethan's caught in a tug-of-war between his heart and his head. His feelings for Lily are undeniable. Every time she brushes past him in the hallway, every time their eyes meet across the room, it's like a jolt of electricity. But Jake's warnings, Lily's silence, and Sarah's suspicions are piling up, and Ethan's starting to question whether he can trust the woman he's falling for. He tries talking to Lily, cornering her after hours in the office, but she's a master at deflection, spinning half-truths about a complicated family situation that don't add up. Ethan's not stupid. He knows there's more to it, and he's starting to notice things he missed before, like the way Lily's phone buzzes with texts she never opens, or the way she flinches when someone mentions the police. Then there's Jake, who's sticking around like a bad omen, crashing on Lily's couch and showing up at the office unannounced. Ethan overhears a heated argument between the siblings, something about owing someone and running out of time, and it's enough to make him wonder if Lily's in deeper than he can handle. You're probably on the edge of your seat, picturing Ethan's world unraveling, wondering how much more he can take before he snaps. That's why you've got to keep watching, because this story is about to take another turn that'll leave your jaw on the floor. Here's where the twist comes in, and it's a game changer. Late one night, Ethan's working alone in the office, trying to make sense of everything, when he finds something in Lily's desk, a photograph, tucked inside a folder she left behind. It's not just any photo. It's Lily younger, smiling, standing next to a man who looks eerily familiar. Ethan's seen that face before, but he can't place it. Not until he remembers a client meeting from months ago, a guy who dropped the firm after a single conversation. The man in the photo is connected to one of Chicago's shadiest business circles, the kind of guy who doesn't just bend the law, he breaks it. Ethan's heart sinks as the pieces start to click. Lily's secret, Jake's panic, the danger they're running from, it's all tied to this man.
But why?
What does Lily have to do with him? And why is her photo with him hidden in her desk? Ethan's mind is racing, and for the first time, he's not just worried about Lily. He's scared for himself. Because if this guy's involved, the firm could be at risk, and so could everyone in it. Sarah's digging is about to hit the same nerve, and when she does, the fallout's going to be explosive. You're dying to know what happens next, aren't you? This is the kind of cliffhanger that makes YouTube go viral, So smash that subscribe button, share this with your friends, and let's see how Ethan and Lily navigate the storm that's about to hit. The photograph in Ethan's hand feels like a ticking bomb, its edges worn from being handled too many times, and the image of Lily standing next to a man tied to Chicago's underbelly is burning a hole in his mind. The office is dark, the city's skyline glowing through the windows, but Ethan's world is shrinking to the size of that single photo. He's piecing together the fragments: Lily's secrecy, Jake's cryptic warnings, the late-night calls, and the truth is starting to take shape, but it's uglier than he ever imagined. You're probably right there with him, your heart pounding, wondering how Lily, the woman who's stolen his heart, could be tangled up with someone so dangerous. The tension in this Chicago high-rise is at its breaking point, and every choice Ethan makes now could either save Lily or destroy them both. This is the climax of She Was a Temporary Assistant, but Permanently Stole His Heart, and I promise you, if you stick with me through this final chapter, you're going to get every answer you've been chasing, plus a twist that'll leave you speechless. This is the kind of romantic drama that trends on YouTube for a reason, so let's dive into the storm and see how it all ends. Ethan's first instinct is to confront Lily, to demand the truth about the man in the photo, but she's not at her desk, and her phone goes straight to voicemail. Panic sets in, mingling with the betrayal he feels, because even now, with all the evidence pointing to something sinister, he can't stop caring about her. He tracks down Jake, who's holed up in a dive bar across town, nursing a beer and looking like he hasn't slept in days. Jake's reluctant, but Ethan's not leaving without answers, and finally, the story spills out. Lily and Jake grew up in a small Wisconsin town, caught in a web of bad choices made by their father, a man who owed debts to the wrong people like the guy in the photo, a lone shark named Vincent who doesn't forgive or forget. When their father died, Vincent turned his sights on Lily and Jake, demanding they pay off the debt or face consequences. Lily took the temp job in Chicago to disappear, to start fresh, but Vincent's reach is long, and he's been tracking her, using her locket, a gift from her father, as a cruel reminder of what she owes. The folded paper, Ethan saw her slip into it? A list of names, people Vincent's forced her to gather information on, including Ethan's clients. Lily's been spying for Vincent, not because she wants to, but because he's threatened Jake's life if she doesn't comply. Ethan's reeling, torn between anger at Lily's deception and a desperate need to protect her. You're probably feeling that same mix of shock and sympathy, wondering how Lily's going to get out of this mess. Keep watching because the climax is about to hit, and it's going to change everything. Back at the office, Sarah's investigation has reached a boiling point. Her private investigator friend uncovered Vincent's name, linking him not just to Lily, but to a string of corporate espionage cases. Sarah's ready to take it to Ethan, but when she finds him, he's already in motion, piecing together a plan to save Lily. Sarah's furious. She sees Lily as a liability, a threat to the firm and to Ethan's future, but Ethan's done listening. He's in love with Lily, and no amount of evidence is going to change that. This is where the subplots collide, because Marcus, who's been distracted by a startup, steps back into the fray. He's got a tech trick up his sleeve, a way to trace Vincent's communications and expose him to the authorities. It's risky, and it means Marcus might have to sacrifice his startup dreams, but he's not about to let Ethan go down alone. The four of them, Ethan, Lily, Sarah, and Marcus, form an uneasy alliance, working against the
clock to set a trap for Vincent. Lily's the bait, agreeing to meet Vincent at a warehouse on the outskirts of Chicago, pretending to hand over the client data he's been demanding. Ethan hates the plan, but Lily's determined, her eyes fierce with a strength he didn't know she had. The warehouse scene is pure YouTube gold. Tense, cinematic, with every second dripping with suspense. You're on the edge of your seat, right? Because this is where it all comes to a head, and the resolution is going to be worth every second you've invested in this story. The climax hits like a freight train. At the warehouse, Vincent's waiting, his presence as menacing as Jake described, but Lily holds her ground, feeding him just enough to keep him talking while Marcus's tech tracks his phone. Ethan's nearby, hidden with Sarah, his heart in his throat as he watches Lily play a role she was never meant to play. Just when it seems like the plan might work, Vincent's goons grab Jake, who'd followed Lily against her wishes, and suddenly, everything's falling apart. Ethan can't stay hidden anymore. He steps out, offering himself in Jake's place, banking on Vincent's greed to see the firm's secrets as more valuable than a family feud. It's a gamble, and for a moment, it looks like it's going to fail. But then, Marcus's trace pings the authorities, and sirens cut through the night. Vincent bolts, but the police are faster, and the warehouse becomes a blur of flashing lights and handcuffs. Lily collapses into Ethan's arms, tears streaming down her face, and for the first time, she tells him everything. Her fear, her guilt, her love for him. It's a moment that'll hit you right in the feels, the kind of raw, emotional payoff that makes YouTube viewers hit that share button. But we're not done yet, because there's one final twist waiting to blow your mind. With Vincent behind bars, the firm's safe, and Lily's debt is wiped clean, but the fallout lingers. Sarah, who risked her career to help, decides to leave the firm, realizing she needs to chase her own dreams instead of living in Ethan's shadow. Marcus pulls his startup back from the brink, using the publicity from Vincent's arrest to land a major investor. Ethan and Lily, battered but stronger, start rebuilding. Their relationship no longer a secret but a promise. They're planning a quiet weekend away, a chance to heal, when Lily opens her locket to show Ethan the photo she's kept inside. Not the list of names, but a picture of her and her father, a reminder of the family she's fought to protect. That's when Ethan notices something else in the locket, something Lily didn't know was there. A tiny key, etched with a bank's logo. A quick search reveals it's tied to a safe deposit box in Wisconsin, one her father left behind. Inside, documents that could expose Vincent's entire network, enough to keep him locked away for life. And a letter from her father, apologizing for the mess he left and telling Lily he's proud of her. The twist hits Ethan and Lily like a wave. Her father wasn't just a debtor. He was working to take Vincent down, and Lily's been carrying the key to his redemption all along. You're probably in awe right now, just like I was, because this is the kind of ending that makes a story unforgettable. As the dust settles, Ethan and Lily stand together, looking out over Chicago's skyline, knowing they've come through the fire stronger. This story isn't just about love, it's about trust, redemption, and the courage to face the past. For you, watching this, maybe it's a reminder that the people who walk into your life, even the temporary ones, can change it forever. Maybe it's a nudge to take a chance on love, or to fight for what's right, even when it's hard. This video's been a wild ride, hasn't it? From a temp assistant to a heart-pounding showdown, it's the kind of drama that lights up YouTube's trending page. So hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you thought of Ethan and Lily's story. Did the final twist get you? Are you Team Lily or Team Sarah? And most importantly, what's the takeaway you're carrying with you? Because stories like this don't just entertain. They stick with you, long after the screen goes dark.